Do you even remember the last time you took a taxi?
Slowly but surely, taxis are being outnumbered by ride-sharing companies like Uber, where you can book through apps, rate drivers, and pay cheaper fares.
Now the taxi industry is fighting back. Drivers across Australia have signed on to a class action lawsuit against Uber.
Some say they've lost their income, their businesses, and even their homes since Uber came in.
But should Uber be the one to pay up, or is government responsible?
They broke the law. Simple as that. If someone broke into your house and stole your TV and you were able to go to the police and say, hey, listen, I know who it is, I know how they've done it, would you expect the police to enforce the law?
That's Rod Barton. He's a former taxi driver and he's leading the class action.
So it's as simple as that. It's a very simple case. It's a case about fairness.
Why should Uber have to pay compensation and not the government?
Uber's not paying the compensation. What we're doing is a class action against Uber for, it's called a conspiracy to injure, and that means Uber knew that when they come to Australia they had to have a licence to operate a taxi or hire car industry, operate within the taxi and hire car industry. They chose not to, and they conspired with others, that is their drivers, to commit an illegal act, and that illegal act has caused us financial harm. We're now suing them for that.
But one market expert doesn't see it that way. Anna Wilson is an economist at Frontier Economics who specialises in transport market issues.
I would certainly suggest that it would have been in their interest to enter the market as quickly as possible, because they probably couldn't wait until governments changed regulations in order to make their legality certain, because in this market there's a big first mover advantage. In other words, if you're the first player in the market, then you're likely to take most of the market. And with that incentive in mind, it's no surprise that they kind of just pushed ahead.
Who is responsible for the taxi drivers' losses?
Whenever you have sort of new developments or policy changes, in this case policy changes that ultimately let a new competitor in order to sort of encourage competition in this market, whenever you have that sort of change, it's ultimately the government's responsibility to ensure that no party is made worse off by the change, so that ultimately you get an overall benefit. So in this instance, it would be a reasonable argument to suggest that the government should be responsible.
And that's where both sides agree. Uber might have to pay because government didn't act fast enough.
If the regulator had done their job and enforced the law, we wouldn't be going to court now.